Yes, folks, left-wing schools here in New Zealand and around the world are exploiting children for political reasons. Have a look at this.
Two Hastings students won't be punished for skipping class to campaign for prison reform today. St John's College students James Barn, Ishan Prana set up a makeshift prison in the city centre. They sat for 5 hours in cramped conditions to plead for the government to do more to reduce the prison population, like introducing a drug court in the region.
I believe that this will target those with addiction issues in Hawke's Bay and hopefully prevent them from reoffending and making the same mistakes.
Their principal said the timing could have been different, but supports his pupils.
So he supports his pupils taking time off school. But hey, why not? Why not protest against for prison reform when they're doing exactly the same for climate?
Welcome back to Q&A. Well, there's more disruption on the way for schools. This time it'll be the students putting their pens down to protest what they say is a lack of action over climate change. Yes, on Friday, 15th March, they will join a global day of action. Fiona Owen met some of the organisers.
On a Kelvin rooftop, 15-year-old Tony Huang is preparing his protest messages for Climate Strike Day.
You don't mind if you have truant written next to your name, Tony?
I mean, it's not ideal, but I also don't want to have to deal with the overwhelming repercussions of climate change either.
School strike for climate marches have gathered momentum around the globe after a Swedish 15-year-old, Greta Thunberg, protested alone outside the Swedish parliament about her government's climate change commitments. She's inspired others of her generation the world over.
Tell me what you know about this name, Greta.
Greta Thunberg, oh, she's an idol.
Oh, she's an idol. She's a left-wing darling, isn't she? She has been exploited by the left for political reasons. And so what's this all about, folks? Well, the answer is quite simple.
The voting age from 18 to 16 years of age, my amendment will allow young people to have a say in our federal elections, to help shape and inform the policies that will set the course for the future. From gun violence to climate change, our young people are organizing, mobilizing, and calling us to action.
Democrats vying for the youth vote, pushing for 16-year-olds now to be allowed to vote.
Okay, fantastic. Our next guest blasting the move as nothing more than a political ploy for teens who generally swing to the left.
And there you have Cabot Phillips from Campus Reform joining us from our nation's capital. So, Cabot, why is she suggesting, this congresswoman from the great state of Massachusetts, that we lower it from 18, where it's been since, I think, the early 70s, down to 16?
This is nothing more than a political ploy masquerading as being about equal rights, okay? The left knows that they control much of the education system. It's not just colleges. Oftentimes, high schools are heavily swayed towards the left as well. And they know that if this would have passed, which thankfully it did not, there would have been millions of young 16 and 17-year-olds who have not only been influenced by their peers and by the social pressure to vote for Democrats, but also many times influenced by the education that they were getting.
Exactly. Influenced by the education they were getting. So this is why they are exploiting these children. The left is trying to legitimize these children. They're trying to create a narrative that 16-year-olds deserve the vote. And again, this is done for no other reason than expanding their voter base. Yes, folks, left-wing schools here and around the world are really exploiting children. They're deliberately letting their kids go out and protest for various reasons to somehow legitimize them, for no other reason than expanding their voter base. But again, I've said this before, but I'm still waiting for some New Zealand political party to stand up against this left-wing control of education. Because if they don't, well, if somebody doesn't stand up soon, we'll have no democracy left at all.